Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza and we are back with another video on our RPG API core, chapter 1, episode, I think it's 29, I'm not sure, I lost the count. Okay, before I go any more forward, there are few issues that I want to address. I suddenly got this null point exception when I was playing around, and maybe you guys had found it. It's directing toward our break input connection inside the node class itself, line 77. That's one issue. The other one is that if you remember, if I hold down Alt and drag, now one node is selected, second node is selected, the third node is selected. But if I move my mouse down so that the top node is now out of the boundary, it's still remaining selected. Even if I release the mouse, you see that this guy is remaining selected. That's another issue that we need to address, okay? Now, about that null point exception, it's here when we are getting the parent dot outputs, okay? So I should say if parent dot outputs, if resharper works, outputs equals to null, then simply continue. Not continue. Thank you. So that should prevent us from falling into this line for the null point exception, okay? Now, I will add to this or parents.outputs.any. Not any. So if there isn't anything in the outputs, just continue. Now, that's break input connections. I think we have something here. Yeah, the same thing here. So I will copy this guy, paste it here, but here we should say if child dot inputs equals to null or not child dot inputs dot any, continue. That should solve the null point exception. Now, the other one is, I think I put a to do somewhere, maybe not, because I got a crash and yeah, I think, yeah, it's here, okay? So this is when I'm holding down the Alt and I'm dragging, okay? The left mouse button, like right now, okay? And that is when we are checking for each node, if the drag rect overlaps the node, then we select it. But here I can say else, and that should be it. So we should say selected node equals to, well, let me see. First of all, the node selected is false. I'm doing this fix on the fly, so it can blow in my face. Now set node equals true. Where am I using that? I totally forgot. There is a big gap between my videos from previous session until now. So bear with me for a second. Set node, comment it. Where am I using it? Set node equals true, equals false, equals true. So deselect all nodes. Okay, so we don't need to tweak that. There we go. So, and why are you not happy with the indenting? That is the reason. Okay, so now we want the reverse part of this. So we say if the selection node contains the node, we want to remove it from the nodes. At the end of the for each loop, I will say if selection node equals to null, or selection node dot any is false, so we don't have any selections, we simply say set node equals to false, and else we will say that selected node equals to selection node of index 0. That should work. Let's let me take a look if I build this guy now. Rebuild solution. The operation could not be completed. The parameter is incorrect. And it's still failing to load, so I will remove and I will try to add it again. Add existing project from Visual Studio. Is that it? Yeah, node graph open. Yes. And this time it's loads. Meh. Something was fishy out there, but in references, now I lost that reference. Okay, so add reference inside the project to node graph. Okay. And inside reference, we have Unity engine, common, and of course the common editor shouldn't be there. Okay, so build a clean solution. Now it's working. Build solution. Now it's working. Okay, I'm not sure what was wrong there, honestly. And 4 succeeded. It's in debug. Let's make it release. Build clean solution. Build solution. 4 succeeded. Okay, now it should re-import the plugins. There we go. And what is this? I'm not sure. Okay, so let's see. It adds, removes. That was what I wanted to see. Okay. And the error that I had was when I was deleting this guy and then trying to delete this, and there is no any other null point exception error. Okay, so that is being done. A side trick, a side problem solving. Okay, you can go to hell. But anyway, now the system is there. I'm not sure what was the problem. I had a crash not on the Visual Studio but on Windows, and it looks like somehow it ruined my project file. Anyway, let's take a look. ASP application inside on PowerShell. An update to Visual Studio tools for Unity is available. I'm not caring about these guys right now. Okay. That is one of the things that I wanted to solve. Okay, and what are you here now? Graph schema. Yeah, shut up. Okay, that's dictionary stuff. I don't care. Now there is some to-do lists that I added here. What's this? Uncomment stuff. What did I mean by this? I will take a look later. Behavior tree, math tree. So none of these are related to what I want to do in the videos, but there are still stuff missing. For example, if I have a node, this node has some things related to it. For example, come up so that we can take a look side by side. Inside the database, we have this test node. The test node has nothing to it right now, as it's shown. In editor, the test, you see that we have some stuff. One of them is, for example, if I find it, well, it doesn't show it like this, huh? No, but for sure there are stuff that we want to show from each node, and if I go to common and node, for example, we have ID, okay, and we have metadata and node name. These three should be shown when I have a single node selected as a property. Also, our node schema, where's that, has different things that we may want to show. One of them is the comment and the help. These two are something that are missing in our current system. So, for example, if I have a comment, I want to show it beside the node. If I click a button, and the help should be shown in here inside this bottom rectangle. This line below, the idea was that if for some reason, anytime in future, you want to show a message related to the tree or the selected node, you can do it here. I don't see myself using it. I still want the ability to have it. So let's see. Window. node editor window. What I will do is that I will comment this line, status view. Okay, so if I build the solution again, come back to Unity so that it imports it again, now you see that it's not showing up, but this is the empty space simply because now I need to tweak this. Where is that? Work view, for example. And where is the call? Where's the update view on you, sir? Work view, update view, there we go. Position width, position height. Okay, but here's the thing, 0.9f, it needs to be 0.95f, okay? So if I build it again and come back, you see that it will stretch down. Okay, now the remaining is these two. This is a bit more complex. We have the help view that the percentage is 0.9. We want it to be 95, okay? And 1 minus that. That should be correct. Hopefully. And I'm not sure this, there we go, that is behaving, so yeah, it's working the way it should. And although I want this to be lowered, okay, now let's see what is this error. I never had seen it. Node graph editor DLL MDB does not match, blah. Okay, there is an easy solution for that. Inside my plugins, I will delete everything. Inside editor, I will delete everything. And clear, what do I have now? The test, maybe. Yeah, okay. So let's show it in Explorer, make sure that the meta files are correct. Yeah, then I will come back, I will build the solution, going back to Unity, and there you have it. Okay, so no more mono editor, no more mono errors. The reason you have this error right, you see that error right now on my monitor, is that and here's the thing, is that my project was sitting on my desktop and I moved it to another folder on another hard drive. Maybe that was the reason. Now you see that here is my maximum, and that is why I'm clamping low. So maybe I should say nine. Build solution. And no more errors. So node graph. And if I move my mouse down now, am I clamping correctly? No. It's clamping too much. I want it to be here. So yeah, that's a little magic number tweaking. Bear with me. 8. Nope, build. Reload. And reopen. still too much. Did it reload properly? I'm not sure. So let's do a trick. Build, rebuild solution. Let it import. Now it's importing. It's still too much, way too much. So nine, no, come on. What was the original number? 897. Well, I will add 0.5 here. So it will be like 947. 947. Hopefully this is correct. So now it's clamping correctly. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if it's properly visible on the monitor or not, but no matter how much I tap the down key, I still see a little tiny bit of line here. And if I move it up, you still see that tiny bit of line here, indicating that something is on top. That was what I wanted to see, okay? And I can even go a bit fancy and make it, I don't know, 5, so that I make that 2 pixels there, build, come back. Yeah, much better, okay? So, what is remaining for the next video? I have 2 things to do right now. One of them is the commenting, and it is inside views. Sorry, property views. So I need to put a to-do list here. Show properties node. That's one of them. Then I have to, where should I put it? In node schema, I think. Where am I showing the GUI? No, it's not here. It was in graph schema. Let's track it. Yeah, it happens when you didn't come to your system for a long time. So connection here, node schema GUI. Okay, that's the style. Draw comment. Okay, so I need to draw the comment here, and I will put a to do draw node comments. And of course I now have the error. So there are these 2 remaining stuff for the node to be functional completely. And one more thing that I need to handle, not here but back down to our views, and that is the help view. And I will add a comment here to do show nodes help. Okay, so now I have 3 stuff added here. And I still don't know what is uncomment stuff. Huh. I put a to do that I'm not sure what it was. That is a very bad way of doing these, you know. You should always put something that makes sense. Anyway, I think, I'm not sure. Anyway, after I finish these 3 to-dos, I still have job before I end the chapter 1, and let me tell you what it is. If you look at our I/O, right now node input and node output, and I will put them side by side with each other, okay? If you look, they are very, very similar to each other. I mean, we have a connection, we have a connection. We have a list of nodes, we have a list of nodes. We have a constructor, then we have has method, we have has method. We have add method, we have add method. Remove, remove. And if you compare them, they are fairly similar to each other. Very, very similar to each other. Okay? Has key, and then add key, remove key. Any parent? Well, I called it any child. Then reset. Okay? This is a very bad design when it comes to program designing. And well, it happens when you do R&D stuff, simply because when you are doing R&D and developing your API for the very first time, you just want to go forward. You just want to finish this stuff and make them work. But then, when you come back and see something like this, it should ring alarm bells in your mind that, hey, something is wrong. Why not make a base class that is handling all these stuff, and if we need to, then inherit, for example, node input and node output from that class. And honestly, I think I can combine these two into single class, and that means that when we go back into draw connections, for example, we will have some errors because now inputs, if I track that down, you see that it's node input schema. And again, node input schema and node output schema is almost fairly the same. Okay, so I should combine these two together, just like one. How can you do this? I'm not sure how Nelson is doing this. We can combine the node input and node output schema into one, and then of course we will have problems to deal with these vocabulary errors that we just generated ourselves by refactoring our code. And that is only draw connections. We have to deal with the connections and let me see. I think it's all. Yeah, handle connections, finalize connections, because you see that now I'm accepting different type of classes, but then I have to switch to single type of class, and well, there needs to be many errors to fix. But that should wait for another video. That is one of the things that is on my mind right now. There is, however, another thing that I'm not sure if I'm carrying it right now, and that is not, my outputs right now has no values, has no way of getting values outside of a node. Okay? Originally, I was going to do a public inline value, something like that. Okay? But that means that each output slot will carry unnecessary headers. For example, not headers in the correct name of programming, but unnecessary data. Okay, and for example, a float node would only need a value type of float as output. Okay, and well, yeah, you get the point. This is a very bad design. That was how I did it in R&D, and I won't do it in here. Basically, I have to now generate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, what I'm doing: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 types of output slots. Okay? And these 11 types of output slot we'll just inherit from our node output, and well, corresponding, I will have 11 types of node input slots, and they will again give us flexibility. Not only we will reduce the size of data that we are carrying on each node around, but at the same time it lets us have more control over what is a valid connection. For example, let's say that I have a graph, and this graph has two nodes. Now, this slot is for some reason carrying a float in itself. This slot will accept a vector tree. If I want to make this connection, now I would connect a float to a vector tree. Where to put this float? A vector tree would have x, y, and z, and I'm just producing one value for that. Should I put x, y, and z all to be equal to this floating number? Should I put it as x? Should I put it as y? Or should I put it as z? And whichever of these different solutions I would choose, it's a bad design for an API, you know, because how the hell should my users be aware of what I'm doing? It's not fair for them. It's not actually a proper choice of doing stuff, you know. That is why we want 11 types of input slot and 11 types of output slot. So when I'm gonna make this connection, for example, I'm connecting a float slot, and this input slot would only accept a float or an integer. That's it. Any other type, or maybe a Boolean, any other type, forget about it. This won't connect. Or if, for example, I'm assigning a vector tree or a vector 2, for example, to a vector tree, it shouldn't accept, or maybe it should accept. I don't know. It's designing now. But honestly, I think a vector 2 shouldn't be acceptable for a vector 3, or maybe. I don't know. Again, long story short, it gives me more flexibility. Not only on the connection, I would validate the node that I want to connect to this node, but now I have a way to validate the slot that I'm gonna connect to the slot. Okay? So that's the idea here. And this should still work without any problems. So I will fix these 3 to-dos that I marked. Then I will come back and work on these slots and input-output system more and more and make it more robust. When I'm done with these slot definitions, that is when I can officially say that I have what the heck? Ah, interesting. Okay, whatever. That is when I can officially say that I am finished with the design, okay? And the node graph system is right now ready as an API to be used to expand upon it. I'm just battling right now because it's very important to understand where I'm going from here. This graph system is just a base. And as you can see, for example, tick graph right now do nothing. Reset the graph do nothing. These will come later being used for behavior tree graphs, math graphs, and dialogue trees, and who knows wherever I want to use them. Right now I was playing Skyrim a few days ago, and something occurred to me. If you ever played Skyrim, the perk tree that you can expand inside the game whenever you level up can be used easily be done by a node graph system. Yeah, long story short, when the chapter 1 ends, you will have a very robust API system that you can sit and expand upon it. And that is when chapter 2 comes in, and we will use this very base system to develop our own behavior tree system. And in future, I'm sure I will use the same system for a dialogue tree system. Anyway, and all the flexibility I'm giving myself in designing this very base system will help me in future to identify what I'm gonna do and to identify how I'm gonna use it, you know. And if you noticed, I had introduced a new bug just by a few lines of code that I added, and that is when I'm adding a node, one of the nodes getting deselected and this node is being added to the selected node, I need to track that down between the two episodes and fix that issue. Okay, so until then, have fun everyone. Bye-bye.